Hello, archive viewers. How do I know that you're watching this on the archive channel? How could I possibly know that? It's not like there's a very simple way that you obviously know. I'm about to start the stream, so let's do that. Let's press the start stream button. Boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room. Hope I don't get copy struck for that amazing cover. Coom, coom, coom. I want you in my womb. Right, hello, welcome everybody, to the stream. I forgot, I kind of forgot that I was about to be in front of people there. It was like, oh right, yeah, I'm doing my job, and that involves, like, people seeing me. Hello, welcome. I've, for a while, just thought that this would be something fun to do, after my video went out. So I'm doing it, because I'm a streamer. I'm a pro streamer, as you can tell from the high quality setup. And streaming is something that I can do. So, as well, actually, I am very much considering making a Twitch for stuff like this, and doing more of this kind of stuff there. Let me know, chat, how you would feel, and if you would follow me to Twitch. Basically, the rationale is that I don't just want to spam people who are only here for videos with constant streams. So if I go to Twitch, I'll be able to stream more regularly without worrying about anything like that. But at the same time, it's a different platform, so I might not be able to bring my audience there with me. It's more challenging to bring an audience to somewhere they're not already. So just let me know. How do you feel about me going to Twitch as a thing? To do more of the same, but pardoned, no. I won't do it then, so sorry. You can't stop me. Jay, Cartoonshi is streaming right now. What do I do? You'll just have to keep both of them open. Hey, Cartoonshi, I know that you're watching this as you stream. What we should do is we should like arrange it so that if both of our streams are open, it sounds like we're having a conversation. That's what we should do. No, but we're gonna use Tier Maker to rank all of the Doctor Who episodes from Chris Chibnall's run on the show, from worst to most okay, and that's what we're here for. I think the first order of business is to change the tiers. Instead of bad, how do you spell atrocious? Is that it? Does this come with spell check? Let's see if I spelled that correctly. I have. Wow, go me! What a win! What a W! Am I right? Very. Why did that happen? Okay, very bad. Bad. Okay. Flawed. No, I think, okay, good, sure. That's the first thing that we need to do. Twitch is toxic. Sell your bathwater. Fancy a pint? Oh yeah, sure. You should rename the tiers. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. But right, let's start with the Woman Who Fell to Earth. Before the stream, I put all of these in order because they weren't already. Oh, apparently you guys aren't receiving enough data. Is the stream looking okay for everyone? If it isn't at any point, this is being recorded separately, so even if the stream breaks down on my internet, there will be a survivable version of it that will survive my internet, and that will be uploaded to my Stream Archive channel, linked in the description. Right, so Woman Who Fell to Earth, I think we can put that firmly in just bad, right? Its plot doesn't make much sense. It has very poor characterization for basically all of its characters. But it doesn't do anything more atrocious than that. It's just, its own story that doesn't really have much good going on in it. So yeah, I'll put it there. And I do want to order these all, by the way, rather than just putting them in their various tiers. I do want to order them all properly. The Ghost Monument, I'm trying to think. It does start with like that, the mother of all plot contrivances. So that's, it does have, I think, people in my comments pointed out that Epso's characterization is worse than I give credit for, because because he's characterized as like a sort of paranoid guy, you know, this is his only characterization is he's paranoid and doesn't trust anyone, but then happily goes to sleep in front of everyone, and is like is trusting enough to go to sleep in front of like Angstrom, for example, whose entire motivation revolves around making him lose, like beating him. Like, that doesn't seem like it works. So, yeah, the characterization is actively inconsistent in this one. This one also has the botchery of the Doctor's anti-gun principle, which I think puts it below The Woman Who Fell to Earth as well. It's also all completely empty. A lot of the stuff in it that gets set up is just irrelevant, and you know, maybe it could come up one day, but it's just an empty story. And the characterization doesn't improve at all from The Woman Who Fell to Earth. So yeah, I think it's fair to call this very bad. Rosa, I think I'm putting that in okay. The characterization is basically the best it gets in the era, for Ryan and Graham at least. And you know, Yaz is just sort of there and inoffensive for it, as is the Doctor, really. The Doctor doesn't do anything atrocious. It's the main criticism I have of it is a plot criticism. I mean, other than the way that the themes are handled, which, you know, I go over in my video, that doesn't, like, you know, make it dreadful. That just makes it kind of pointless and boring. YouTube seems to think it's not getting any data from my stream, but you guys are clearly still watching it, so I don't know what's going on with that. Other than the way it handles its themes, I think its main issue is a plot criticism, where the villain Krasko, he has a weapon. Like, it's really funny because, like, they should have thought of this, right? So he is a criminal. He's a convicted criminal who, as part of his sentence, as part of his punishment, had a chip injected into him or something done to him. I can't specifically remember, like, the science word they used for it now. But the explanation is that he has, like, something in his brain or whatever that stops him. It makes him completely incapable of killing or hurting people physically, right? He can't commit violent actions. He is physically... Benjamin, spamming not allowed. Also, Tobias, spamming not allowed. So if you better stop or you're getting timed out. So yeah, he has he's incapable of committing acts of violence, right? And that's the explanation given in the episode as to why he hasn't just killed Rosa Parks, because his plan involves stopping Rosa Parks from doing her protest, right? That's the reason he hasn't killed her. But then, to make him a threat, they give him a time displacement weapon, which manages to shoot people, which if you shoot people with it, it doesn't kill or hurt them, so he can use it, but what it does is it sends them to a different time zone. So, like, you know, he can use this weapon to send you to the past or to the far future. Yeah, okay. And that weapon is, like... That's the weapon they give him so that he can be a threat, like, physically to our characters, even though he's not capable of hurting anyone. But that defeats the purpose of giving him this thing that prevents him from being violent, so that he can't just kill Rosa. Because obviously now that he has a weapon he can use that on Rosa. So the plot elements defeat each other. They can't exist coherently with each other. They're incongruent with each other, and that is a minor plot criticism, I think. Well, it's quite significant because it is the thing that allows the entire plot to happen. But it isn't huge, which is why I'm happy calling it okay. It's one plot problem, and the themes are, not very well delivered, or it doesn't go in depth into any of its ideas. So I'm happy to call it fine. It's all right. In an otherwise great season, it wouldn't be in a season of television that was otherwise great, Rosa wouldn't be one that's like, what the hell was that? It would be, I guess there's always got to be one that's not special. Arachnids in the UK, atrocious. Doesn't work on any level. The characterization is weak. The fam don't have any ideas or perspectives of their own. They're just there. The plot is phenomenally contrived at basically every point that it can be, and it just flat out doesn't make sense at points. If you look at the beginning, the Doctor is in Yaz's flat, and the person who lives next door is already being eaten by a spider, completely by coincidence, and the Doctor finds that out just because of coincidental nearness to the plot. Now, one coincidental nearness to the plot is fine because that's how you find a plot in the first place. It's not a coincidence that you find a plot. But then Yaz's dad is also already on to the conspiracy of Jack Robertson hiding, dumping waste. So the guy living in the flat and the next door neighbor who coincidentally has an Amazon package left there for them, so that the Doctor has a reason to go around to their flat. Both coincidentally onto the same thing. Benjamin, you have been warned. No, not pin message. Put user in timeout. Oh, we got a new member. Welcome, Dummy Thought, to membership status within the channel. You get exclusive little commentary tracks that I record about some of my videos. Yeah, so the plot is, and then it continues like that with basically every element of the plot is just introduced by coincidence. For example, Graham also coincidentally has a spider just chilling out in his house from Jack Robertson's experiments. And then either this is a huge coincidence that these people they've just stumbled into the only two spiders that are outside the hotel, or the spiders are supposedly everywhere, at which point the solution that they work at the end, which is using music to attract all the spiders into a room, wouldn't work, because if the spiders were spread out all over the city, then a solution that just covers the hotel isn't going to solve the problem. And clearly a lot of spiders are spread out over the city, so they didn't solve the problem anyway, so it's that's a plot hole, or at least something that they're ignoring. Then it has the absolute botchery of the themes and the ideas, which I elaborate on in my video, linked in the description. The Doctor's principles are botched in it as well. I would struggle to make this a worse episode of television, without doing something that would be that people would know was a joke, something that would be so conspicuously bad that people would be like, well, how do you do that without doing it on purpose, The Serenga conundrum, I'm going to put in very bad. The characterization is weak for all of the side characters. There are so many side characters, and their entire characterization is just basically state who they are, and then maybe have an arc which involves them stating who they are again, and then at the end of the story stating that they've changed their minds. Then you've got the arc about the pregnant alien man who, which makes me just uncomfortable, in that they have a direct comparison between Ryan and his deadbeat dad and this man who's making the tough decision to give up his child for adoption because he doesn't think he can provide adequate care. And it's a terrible comparison, because this man giving up his child for adoption is making an active sacrifice for the well-being of his child, whereas Ryan's dad is just a shitty dad. And it's damn, that kind of really shortchanges people who actually make tough decisions to make sure that their kids get raised properly, That's a really bad comparison. Apparently the stream is buffering. If you get buffering at any point in the stream, the archive will keep it safe. Demons of the Punjab, I think, is another. I'm debating whether to put it in bad or very bad. Chat. I mean, you've seen basically. The thing is, I've already outlined basically everything I have to say about Demons of the Punjab in my video. So, chat. Based on what you understand about it, where would you say it goes? Bad or very bad? Apparently the stream's not working properly. Put it at the top of very bad. Yeah, it's either the bottom of bad or the top of very bad, I think. That's right, we're not just putting them in tiers, we're ordering them. So I think, yeah. The tiers don't really matter as much as the order that the episodes are in. Where did it go? Wait, where is it? Oh, it's there. Okay. Yeah, okay, sure, bad. Let's put it at the bottom of bad. So that's currently last place in bad. Kablam? Atrocious. I think it might actually be the worst episode in the run. Kablam fundamentally breaks on every level catastrophically. The plot is phenomenally contrived. It requires just, it's a mystery story where they explicitly set up that they have to find one person in 10,000 people, and it's going to take a lot of time for them to find that one person that they're looking for in this warehouse of 10,000 people. And then they just bump into him. And then not only that, all four of them just bump into a separate person who is in some way involved with the mystery. And they bump into like the only three people involved, who not only are they're the only three people involved, they're also not even involved yet. So you can't argue that the system did it deliberately, because the system didn't know that these people were involved because they weren't involved yet. They were just about to become involved. Dan is the next victim of Charlie, who, hasn't been taken yet. So there's, no reason that the system should have paired up Yaz and Dan. And then Kira is Charlie's love interest. So unless the system was planning that far ahead and already knew it was going to kill Kira, which is a whole... I think that makes things worse. There's no... And also, it didn't need to introduce, the Doctor and Ryan to Kira for its plan to work. That was just irrelevant, other than us getting to know Kira as a character before she died. It didn't. The plot would still work if we didn't know Kira. It's just a huge contrivance to get her into the story earlier, so that we understand who she is before she dies. And if we are going to argue that, it's like okay. How much can the system do? Because that's already unclear and it's already broken. Because the system can go and fetch Kira, it can tell her a load of specific things to get her to go to a certain room so that it can kill her to make a point, but it can't go and make a robot go to like Mr. Slate and say Charlie is killing other workers. Because that would break the plot if the system had any other abilities other than specifically the only ability it having being killing Kira. Apparently that's the only thing it's allowed to do. Yeah, so the system's abilities are either inconsistent based on either inconsistent based purely on what the story needs to happen, or based on the events that were actually presented. The system has every option it has to stop the problem at any time, and it just chooses the best method it wants to try is killing an innocent person first. Speaking of killing an innocent person, the Doctor says that that's, bad, which it is, and that's the reason she condemns Charlie at the end, who's killing innocent people to protest the abysmal state of like workers' rights in his society. He's killing innocent people, whereas the Doctor defends the Kablam system, which is also killing innocent people. Both of these are killing innocent people, you know, out of an act of desperation, but the Kablam system is okay because, and Charlie is bad because, well, he is, but you know. Plus, it's a bit weird from a meta point of view that the episode is bending events. It's like it's written a story specifically with the idea of presenting a protester protesting like the worker exploitation and mega corporations. It's the episode has done everything it can to present the protester as wrong and the corporation as okay, which is very strange. It's like, why bend a story to send the message that, you know, people protesting mega corporations are bad and the mega corporations are fine, don't worry, chill out. That doesn't pass the vibe check. So yeah, I think Kablam, I think it's probably staying at the bottom. Hot take, it's worse than any of the other ones here. It fails on every possible level. And, you know, the characterization is just bland and flat throughout, as it is in most of these stories. The Witchfinders. Atrocious. Very bad. Bad. Okay. Good. No, it's okay. Right, you're getting banned. No spamming. Right, so brain, engage, do thinking. Right, the Witchfinders, I will have to say, it's the episode that the fewest of my arguments, it's one of the two episodes that the fewest of my episodes of my arguments hinged on. It's like, it does some of the stuff that other episodes do a bit, you know. It's not where I took many of my examples from. It's just more of the same. There's an episode in series 12 like that, which I will get to, but I may be missing stuff here because it's the one that of all of these I'm probably the least familiar with. It does have that weird moment where the Doctor says that she wouldn't be accused of witchcraft if she were a man, which, even if it could be true, which it could, because you know what, I'm gonna say it, there might have been some misogyny back in the burning of witches days. Entirely possible that there was a little bit of misogyny there, right? However, when you are a person who is standing in front of a graveyard of risen corpses holding what appears to be a glowing magic wand, and you are then accused of witchcraft, I don't think it's fair to assume that wouldn't have happened to you if you were a man. Just saying, I don't think that's quite fair. But I think that's the weakest moment in the episode by far. It only takes like 30 seconds. It's very cringe, but it's like, okay, we've had a very cringe 30 seconds. Boomtown has a very cringe 30 seconds in it. Do you remember Boomtown when Blonde fell Foch Pasamir. Hang on. Blonde fell Foch Pasamir de Slovene. I'm pretty sure that's her name. Remember when she's standing on the extrapolator and like the entire like world is, she's like, you know, she's an older woman, and then she does like, she's standing on the extrapolator ready to ride out the explosion. She looks at everyone and goes, "Okay, boys, surf's up." And you're like, was that supposed to be like cool? What's happening here? Yeah, there's cringe, but yeah, it's mega cringe in the Witchfinders. Other than that, though, the episode is just fine. I don't think that the characterization is anywhere near as strong as it is in Rosa. It's just very bland, very weak, as it is in most of the episodes, which is why I'll put it below Rosa. But other than that, it's fine. It's also elevated by Alan Cummings with a genuinely good portrayal of King James. Actually, That genuinely good. When I say genuinely good portrayal, I mean he is a consistently and well acted. He's a consistently written and well acted character. I don't know anything about King James, so I can't tell you from a historical accuracy point of view how he goes. Let's unpin that deleted message from the chat, shall we? Right, now. I did a little burp. It takes you away. Controversy time. Right. And takes you away, while it does have huge problems in it, isn't really... it doesn't really represent problems of the era very much. It has its own problems. The characterization is decently strong, especially in the first half, right? There's a great little moment where Graham has a sandwich. He finds... that's the praise, by the way. Graham has a sandwich, but look, let me explain. It's great because Graham... when he meets Hannah in hiding in a cupboard, and he offers her a sandwich at one point. I can't remember what motivates him to do it, but he offers her a sandwich to help her out, to make her try and feel better. Person in chat, I liked it takes you away crying face. I'm praising it right now. You're about to be upset. You're not allowed to be yet. So he has a sandwich, and he mentions how, all this time on board the TARDIS, he can't be dealing with his low blood sugar, so he has to be prepared. When Ryan's like, Graham, why do you have a sandwich in your pocket, Graham? And that's good natural characterization, and it shows that he's getting used to his life in the TARDIS rather than his life at home, which is in line with the conflict that's later, his later internal conflict in the episode, which threatens to drag him away from everything he's built up in the TARDIS back to Grace, which is what was going on in his life before the TARDIS. That's good. That's well done, and I think that's probably better characterization than anything else in the era, genuinely. And it's all just Graham having a sandwich. It shows how used he is to TARDIS life. However, it takes you away as dragged down by literally everything else in it. This actual confrontation with Grace isn't great. He doesn't really need to grow to establish that staying with Grace is a bad idea, because she demonstrably and very clearly demonstrates that she's not the real Grace. So it's not like he's resisting a siren song anymore. It's like, I don't think there's any real chance that he's going to stay there. It's like, obviously he's not going to stay there, because his actual real living relatives are out there in danger right now. And the person that is pretending to be his dead wife, the person who's pretending to be his dead wife is making it very clear that it's not really his dead wife, because she's behaving fundamentally different. I don't see how him choosing, I'm going to save my living relative over what is clearly not in any way an accurate portrayal of my dead wife is a meaningful decision. I think they make it too clear that she's not real, and Graham doesn't have to give anything up. That's the most minor criticism, though. I can definitely see how, if you disagree with that, that's neat. I can definitely see how you arrived. Everything else. The episode takes about 10 to 15 minutes doing a completely irrelevant plot in a place called the Anti-Zone with a character called Ribbons, who literally doesn't serve the story in any way. He is completely irrelevant to everything in the story, everything else in the story. Everything that happens in this weird area between dimensions could be cut down to 30 seconds, and it would serve the story in exactly the same way it does currently. You don't need any of it. You just need to establish a couple of things, right? You need to establish that the Anti-Zone exists and is a space in between one realm and the other. And you need to establish that it's dangerous there, so that later on in the story, Ryan can be in danger, so that Graham can realize that Grace isn't the real Grace, right? That's all you need from the Anti-Zone, and you can establish that stuff in 30 seconds. They get into the Anti-Zone, they find the killer moths, and then they run out, right? That's literally the scene you need. They stumble into the anti-zone. They start exploring. Oh my god, there's a moth. It's going to eat me. And then they run out and they find themselves in the other dimension. That's it. That's all you need. It needs to be 30 seconds. Then you have everything with Eric and Hannah. Eric, first of all, what the fuck is this plot, right? Just to be clear, he wants to go and visit his wife, right? She's been dead and she's been brought back to life, and that's why he wants to go and visit her so badly. But that doesn't change anything about the fact that his motivation is he just needs to leave his daughter alone in the house. Well, he doesn't need to do that, but you know what I mean. He wants to go somewhere and he doesn't want his daughter to go with him, right? That's everything that affects his actions here. The nature of what it is he's going to do doesn't actually affect his decision in what he does to Hannah, because it's literally not relevant. He could be going, to go and visit his alive wife, who is just alive and is staying a couple of cities away, right? Be the same motivation, and it wouldn't affect any of what I'm about to tell you, because he does all of this because he is very, very motivated to go somewhere without his daughter, right? That's all he needs to do. Go somewhere and not bring his daughter. That's what he wants. Right. To achieve this, he, first of all, doesn't do anything, a good father would do. He doesn't arrange for someone to come in and care for his disabled daughter while he's away. He doesn't tell her that he's going anywhere, even though he later argues that he thinks she's self-sufficient. So if he's like, hey, Hannah, I'm going to go visit some friends for a couple of days. There's food in the fridge. Keep yourself safe, right? No, he doesn't do that. He lies to her that there are monsters in the woods. To make his lie more convincing, he boards up his entire house by nailing planks of wood to it. Right? Already, Eric, what the fuck are you thinking? Right? This is just plot contrivance at this point, right? Because it's like, technically he could do all this, but he only made these decisions for the plot, right? The only reason he made these bizarre decisions that no human would ever make was so that the plot could do a bait and switch where the Doctor arrives and thinks there's a monster, but actually there isn't, and it was just Eric, right? Who actually is the monster, That's not it, though. He also rigs up a sound system to play monster sound effects in the woods so that his blind daughter is terrified into staying in the house. And his motivation for all this, by the way, is that he just doesn't want his daughter to leave the house. Wow. Literally, what the fuck to any of that, And he lets her believe that he has been taken by the monsters instead of just telling her that he's going somewhere. Already, that plot is just fucked, right? Technically, it could all happen. But it's just so bizarre and outside the realms of something that any human being would, do. It's like, even if he is really shitty, which, he obviously is, I think a shitty parent would probably do a lot more different kinds of things before they go, I know, I'm going to make an elaborate scheme and pretend that there are monsters everywhere. I'm going to do what must be days or more of effort to just convince my daughter that there are monsters outside so she doesn't go into the woods. Then, if that wasn't enough, and that's abuse. That's just abuse. That it is. Convincing your daughter, who is a teenager and disabled, blind, that you have been kidnapped by monsters and that those monsters are now roaming the woods outside the house, and so she's just cowering, hiding in a cupboard for 2 days. That's abuse, conspicuously. This abuse in the end of the story, the only lesson he learns or growth he gets is Hannah saying, "You've not been yourself since Mum died." That's it. And then at the end of the story, it's he's cool now, he's fine. He doesn't even, right, you may think, oh, but he made the decision to leave the copy of his dead wife in the Solitrack dimension. No, he didn't. He was pushed out. He didn't ever make the decision to leave her and choose his daughter instead. He got pushed out of that dimension. And then at the end, he's just sitting there with his daughter, like, yeah, we're cool now. And they're hugging, and you're like, I don't think he actually learned any kind of lesson. He literally doesn't apologize. There's no point where he says, sorry, I did something wrong, I did something bad. And even if he did, that wouldn't cover the phenomenal amount of abuse he caused her. Atrocious. Any objections? I think better than Arachnids in the UK, and better than Kablam, but atrocious. There are some things that good characterization in the first half don't make up for. Oh! Also, it's got some of the worst, just like, incidental dialogue at the beginning of any Doctor Who story ever, I think. There's the bit where it literally plays out like a parody of Doctor Who. Like, why did you write any of this? There is the part where the Doctor lands the TARDIS in Norway, and right, the Doctor like tasting stuff to find stuff out about it, and like smelling stuff. That's a very consistent part of the Doctor. I think the Doctor has done that since like the 70s, right? And sometimes you'll have like in the Planet of the Dead, for example, the Doctor picks up the sand and like eats some of it, and he uses that to figure out, like, he just tastes some of the sand from the ground, and he uses that to try and figure stuff out about its content, which makes sense because it's like, oh, you can, okay, so you're putting something in your mouth, and then you're learning what, like in the Christmas Invasion as well. He gets some of the blood from the Sycorax's blood control device. He puts it in his mouth, and he's like, oh, it's blood, human blood, A positive blood, blood type A positive. And you're like, oh, yeah, sure, that makes sense. He could probably tell, it's feasible that some kind of alien could be able to figure all of that stuff out by taste. Sure. It's all properties of the thing that he has in his mouth. It plays out like a parody of this when the 13th Doctor picks up some soil from the ground, puts it in her mouth, and goes, we're in Norway. There's an alpaca farm 2 miles away and a gift shop. It's like, guys, do you not get, like, the implications? It's like they've noticed the trope and then not why it's incorporated or what it achieves for the story, so they just included it. And it genuinely plays out like a parody. And then, worse, the Doctor is genuinely scared of a sheep in the episode, and then later justifies this by saying, oh, I thought in 100 years' time from now, an event called the Woolly Rebellion begins, where sheep go to war with humanity. And like, she was genuinely scared. She's not just fucking around. She was genuinely concerned because she saw a sheep. So I feel like the incidental dialogue of these scenes is like, guys, what were you thinking with that? The dialogue is world building. You get that, right? You're doing world building here, and the thing that you've just world built is that humanity goes to war with sheep. I feel like, I hope I don't have to explain why that's dumb as fuck, and is like, it would maybe work in some other shows that are entirely surreal and don't expect you to be engaged within in their world in a sort of tangible stakes-based sense. But like, when you're supposed to be invested in the world and the stakes of that world and the events of that world and what happens in it, and it's like the world is at least connected to reality. It's not reality itself. It's not set in the real world, but it's like, it's at least tangentially similar to reality. It's like, it's really missed the mark. So yeah, atrocious is where it takes you away is going. Any protest, right? This is your time to protest. Me putting it takes you away is atrocious. For all its flaws, it takes you away as a really creative Lovecraftian tale. I don't know that word, so I'm skipping it. With a great climax and the best Graham material. Could have been way better as a two-parter though. I mean, I don't disagree that it's got the best Graham material in it, and it's creative. I feel like, though, that comment is basically just, if you don't mention all of the stuff that it royally fucks up, it's good. Which, yeah. Well, you did start that out with for all its flaws, to be fair. Yeah. Yeah, it's not like there's nothing to like in there. It's just there's so much painfully awful stuff in there that it's like, you know, wow. I don't mind silly so long as it's good, and that was just bad. Yeah, absolutely. Silly isn't the problem. It's more the implications it has. Because silly isn't the same as stupid. Hot take, Ranscore is worse than the Timeless Child simply because nothing of importance happens and the new Cyber Warriors look kind of neat at least. Well, I guess we're on Ranscore now. Ranscore. It's definitely worse than Saranga Conundrum. I think it might be better than Takes You Away, though. I don't know, though. Because the plot is absolute nonsense. Similar to It Takes You Away. The... The plot is definitely nonsense. I mean, I've gone over all this in my video. The themes are very poorly handled, and it just, you know, it was my first example of the moral binary that just forces all the nuance away and just ignores everything that doesn't fit and royally fucks it up anyway. The character work is awful. The plot is awful. The themes are awful. I think it's basically It Takes You Away, but with worse characterization in that respect. So yeah, I think it goes below It Takes You Away. I think it also... I mean, does it go below Spiders? I don't think it goes below Spiders. I'm not sure it's worse than Arachnids in the UK. Arachnids in the UK is so fundamentally broken, but they both are, that's the thing. Resolution. This should be interesting. It's going to be so interesting that... Give me a second, I'm going to get a drink real quick. I'm thirsty. My mouth is very dry. I've been talking for a long time. Hello? Hello. Did you miss me? Good cup of tea, that's what I needed. I like how Chibnall is to share what Moffat is to H. Bomber Guy. Well, I don't think we know H. Bomber Guy's opinions on Chibnall either. I'm curious to know what he thinks of this current run. Why did I put my headphones on? There's no sound for anything I'm doing. Resolution. I think it goes in very bad. I think it goes... It doesn't have any thematic botchery, which I think puts it... Because it only fails at, like... It really royally screws the Daleks, though, that's the thing. The thing about the Dalek in Resolution is it's fundamentally so different from any portrayal of the Daleks we've seen previously that it really makes you question why they decided to use a Dalek for this story in the first place. Like, if I'd written this script, I would go, okay, why have we got a Dalek for this? We've got a creature that is very competent outside of its armor, right? Because this story doesn't... This story makes the... It makes it so that the Dalek casing is not a life support system. It's not part of the Dalek. It's basically just armor for the Dalek. It's battle armor. The Dalek is very capable, extremely capable outside of its casing. It can survive as long as it wants to. In fact, it's literally immortal, and not just like, it's not at all helpless. It's very, very proficient in everything it tries to do in outside of its casing. It can literally like possess people. It has, and like it can't even do that inside of its casing. So in the world that Chris Chibnall builds, not only is the Dalek casing just battle armor, the Daleks would have reason to come out of their casings and like actually run around on foot for a lot of things, because like they can't possess people from inside their casings, but that's a useful skill that would actually come in handy. So I mean, they should be running outside of their casings sometimes to do stuff like that. It's a fundamentally different creature. It has fundamentally different motivations. It's malicious, and like it toys with the woman it's possessing in like a very sadistic way. And the Daleks never really been characterized as actively sadistic before, unless there is something special about that one particular Dalek. Again, and it does an evil laugh. Remember the only other time in the series a Dalek did an evil laugh? It was to show that there was something wrong with it. And this, it just seems to be part of the course. And it's like, it's not to say that you can't modify stuff from that you're adapting from previous eras. Dalek and Parting of the Ways, two of the best Dalek stories, really screw with what the Daleks are. The Daleks in Parting of the Ways have a concept of blasphemy, right? Crazy. That's not really what the Daleks are about. But you know how it pulls it off? It has the Doctor go, since when did the Daleks have a concept of blasphemy? Because he knows that these Daleks he's facing are a distortion of what the Daleks were before. Because of their origins and because of their unique circumstances, they have changed. That's storytelling, you know? That's what storytelling is. If the Daleks had just come back and worshipped a god, and the Doctor had acted like it's normal, and this is everything, you know, going as predicted, and there weren't any special circumstances, it was just, you know, a few more Daleks had shown up and they're talking about their god, you'd be going, what? And that's the difference. Time in Office is better than Chibnall's whole run. I'm not sure. Time in Office is phenomenally overrated. I bought it because of its high ratings, and man, I might have to do a stream on Time in Office at some point. With Stuart. Right, we've got... yeah, I think that's the right place for it. We also got the plot, which is the Dalek is... it builds a scrap Dalek in like an hour using just 2 human hands. It builds an entirely new casing for itself. But also it has like its previous weapon. The amount of work that it does is insane in that amount of time. And then it just flies around. People are going to say that, like, the scene of it killing soldiers is cool. And it's like, yeah, it's cool. It's like, it would be better without the rest of the episode around it, though. So that's the thing. It's like a cool showcase of a Dalek killing. It would be a neat little YouTube video, that scene. And as a neat little YouTube video uploaded without context of the episode, it would be improved. There's also the character stuff between Ryan and his dad, which is peak Chibnall characterization of him just stating his motivations and it's all very shallow and hollow and generic. Spyfall Part... Oh, we've got those two the wrong way around. Spyfall Part 1. I'm not really sure. It's not... It's very daft and like in the same way that the Woolly Rebellion is daft. Like, I'm fine with stuff being daft. It sacrifices realism within context, though. Like the scenes of Barton shooting at the fam as he rides on as they all ride on motorbikes, and he's just missing every shot, and you're like, okay. However, and plus, you know, the fam don't really seem to be affected by this. They all just quip throughout the whole story. That's all they do. I am happy to stick it between, I think, The Woman Who Fell to Earth and Demons of the Punjab. The thing is, well, the plot is all intrigue, which means that it doesn't fuck anything up in its own episode in terms of plot, but all of the fuckery it comes next episode. Speaking of next episode, Spyfall Part 2. Worse Than It Takes You Away. I think. These order basically give or take like 3 places for each episode, but like, you know, Kablam is never going to beat out Rosa. Kablam is fundamentally fucked in every way, and Rosa's just like a couple of drafts away from actually genuinely being pretty good, I think. Rosa just needs teeth, and it needs a slight plot fix, and then it's a good episode of television. It's not really a bad episode of television. Well, which one? Rosa, then I agree if that's what you're talking about. I can't wait to see if Series 13 justifies the Doctor being racist and start Spyfall Part 2. Yeah, she joins the clan. No, I doubt it will somehow. Spyfall Part 2, the plot is broken throughout the whole thing. Just watch the scene where the fam get deliberately tracked down by Barton's men, and then they steal their car, and run away, and then with that car, nothing about that scene works. Like, they get. I mean, first of all, let's just talk about that scene. Like, they attract Barton's men to them, who are a group of trained like agents. I think like militarized agents, like spies, military spy type dealios, right? Graham threatens them with his laser shoes, and they all like just give up because an old man has a weapon near them. Like, isn't this your job, fellas? Why did you come armed? If as soon as someone presents a weapon, you are going to all, like several of you, lay down your weapons and give in to all demands. That seems like they're not doing their job there. The plot is fucked in every way, though. Then you've got the scene where the Doctor surrenders the Masters to the Nazis for no reason. I've gone over that in my video, and you have pretty weak characterization throughout. And then you have the destruction of Gallifrey set up, which really doesn't read the room. It doesn't read the context of the era that Gallifrey was destroyed in, you know? If you want to destroy Gallifrey right now, you need to bear in mind that we've got to bear in mind that we just finished an arc about getting Gallifrey back, right? Like, this isn't just devastating to the Doctor because she lost her home planet. This is devastating to the Doctor because she just got it back. So yeah, pretty bad. But it doesn't fuck that up yet. I think it does fuck it up because it's the one that introduces it. But like, it's not clear from just this episode how badly they're going to mess up that arc. Right, Orphan 55. I think it goes here. Better than Kablam, better than Arachnids. It doesn't screw up its moral message. It is not thematically botched, it's just thematically patronizing. And it's thematically dull, and it has nothing of value to say, but that's better than saying something that's actively botched. I guess from that perspective, that would put it above Ranscore, and I mean that would put it above all of these. But like, it does, have its own problems that I think puts it below these. It has, it's one of, like Saran Conundrum. It is a Chibnall trope of introducing loads of side characters, having them just state one thing, and then by the end of the episode they state the opposite thing, and that's an arc. What you've done there is an arc. Like you've got the guy played by Jay from The Inbetweeners. I can't remember his character's name, and his son Silas, and like his son is hyper competent, but he doesn't listen to his son because his son is a child. And then by the end of the episode, he listens to his son, and you're like, oh, that's the entirety of the arc. He changed his mind about something because, and like you have all of the characters in the episode are like that, and they just state the motivations and stuff. It's also like the most patronizing episode in the era about something that everyone already knows about, and I think that explains the backlash. You know, it's so phenomenally patronizing with its phenomenally underdeveloped ideas. It acts like it's telling you something that you've never heard before and is shocking to you, when it's literally repeating to you something over and over again that you already know and is a huge part of your culture. So, you know, not great, but it is like, it doesn't fuck up everything. Its plot technically functions. The progression of events from one event to the next works, which puts it above Rand's score of Kolos. Actually, it might be above Rand's score of Kolos. I think they're much of a muchness, but I mean, I guess the order is important, but I think the tiers are important as well. And I think because these are at liberty to change order, so this isn't all set in stone. These are variable because there's so many different factors at play. So I think the pay attention to the tiers as well as the order. Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. Okay, I think it might actually be the best in the run. Any protest? Its only crime, I think, is being simplistic and patronizing. Simplistic and patronizing? You could literally go, oh, it's amazing. It's a bit simplistic and patronizing, but other than that, it's amazing, right? I mean, the fam don't get any focus, but because they're such planks of wood, that's to the videos, that's to the episodes, like, what's the opposite of detriment? Benefit. If that's to the episode's benefit, they don't get any meaningful characterization. They barely get anything to do, and, you know, they're planks of wood throughout it, but it does play out. The characterization in it all is more just sort of like, it feels like you don't have 4 characters there with the fam and the doctor. It feels more like you have 4 children's TV presenters there who are there to point out the things that they're observing as they go and interview a scientist, you know? It's like, wow, look at this science. Yes, wow, look at that science, children. And you're like, Actually, I think the characterization... But the thing is, Nikola Tesla is such a well-characterized character. Well, he's okay. I think it's more that he's well acted. The writing is fine, and the performance elevates that writing. I'm tempted to put it below Rosa, actually. But these are much of a muchness, I think. They both have their own problems, and they both have their own strengths. But at the end of the day, I think in a good series of television, they would both just be... I guess we'll see what they do next week. You know? Unremarkable. Plus, it's weird that they pretend that people still don't know who Tesla is. Write the word POG in chat if you don't know who Tesla is, or rather, write the word POG in chat if you didn't know who Tesla was before you saw this episode of television. I did like the doctor admiring Tesla. Yeah, it's good that she admires him. That's a positive. I mean, I think she would. Honestly, I'm saying this now. I think if I was handed the show in its current state, and it wasn't like I wasn't allowed to like reboot and everything and like, you know, start fresh with a new doctor. I think that for my series 13, if I was running it, I would have the doctor meet up with Tesla and Tesla be the season for the companion for the season, and it'd have cool sequences where they both like do 1950s style science together, where they both put on goggles and invent a contraption to get themselves out of the a season of the Doctor and Nikola Tesla buddy scientists who like have a laboratory and do all of their cool science stuff together, and both enjoy. I'm actually seeing a lot of pogs. Damn. Okay. Pogant. Yeah, like. Damn, I wasn't expecting that many people. Okay, maybe a lot of people don't know who Tesla is. I've been a fan of Doctor Who for 45 years. I've come to the conclusion it needs another rest. What do you think? Yeah, I agree. It could use probably a rest. That's the thing. It's not a guarantee that it'll be good when it comes back, though, will it? Is it? Ooh, I've got like a little bit like hiccups going on. I realized that I intended to, in the break between seasons, do super chats, and I forgot to do that. So I'm just going to read the current super chats now. If we don't have any protests, or even if we do have protests, if you don't... No new super chats. I've definitely seen super chats come in, so that's concerning. YouTube isn't showing me the super chats. Hang on a second, let me figure this out. I guess we'll do this at the end of the stream, because I don't want to derail the stream now where I go and try to figure out where the super chats are hiding. But yeah, at the end of the stream, I'll look for the super chats tab on YouTube and see if they've been saved. If not, that sucks, but I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about it at this point because YouTube hasn't saved them. If it's not saved them, then I can't, remember them from when they came in. Fugitive of the Jadoon. Oh, you know what? Both Orphan 55 and Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror, I think, need to be docked points for the fact that it's so insubstantial that you forget they're even doing it wrong. These are the episodes immediately after the Doctor finds out Gallifrey has been destroyed. And she's just her normal self, except for one scene where she's told she's grumpy. These are literally the episodes where the context that the Doctor is living in is so fundamentally different from what it normally is. She should have so much going on, and there's nothing there. Yeah. Oh. You know what? Bad. And I think... I'm struggling with whether or not that makes Orphan 55 worse than these two. I think it might. That's the thing. It go either side. These three are much of a muchness, David Tennant is the reason I'm bi. Right, I'm going to read the super chats as they come in, by the way, now, because in case YouTube loses them. I'll never understand why the BBC chose Chibnall, of all people, who only wrote mediocre episodes of Doctor Who. Also, that abomination Cyberwoman. Yeah, I don't understand either. I think it's literally just because status quo. Maybe it's because he's easy to control from higher-ups who have ideas of what will be marketable. Could be anything. Praxius is the episode from both seasons that I'm least familiar with. I rewatched it once, concluded that there was very little it did that wasn't done by other episodes as well. It's basically just a generic episode of Chibnall Who. It does everything that Orphan 55 does. It's just less patronizing, I think. And it also doesn't come immediately after... Wait, we didn't do Fugitive, did we? Where's Fugitive gone? There it is. Oh yeah, we need to do Fugitive. Basically, it's all just set up for the Timeless Children. It's like... Here's a list of questions. The characterization is meh. The plot doesn't really matter to the story. Basically, it's a whole episode that doesn't really matter into itself. It's a whole episode that doesn't matter to itself. It matters to something else, which is why it's hard to rate it as its own thing, because it's not. It doesn't really have its own conflict, so to speak, I think I'm going to put it above Demons. Yeah, above Demons, between those two. I think I'm just, feeling that one out though. This is the most variable one. It could basically go anywhere, and there are very decent arguments for why this goes literally anywhere in the list. I feel bad putting Nikola Tesla in bad, man, because it's got genuinely good stuff in there, but it just, man, yeah, it is though. It is. I can't justify putting it in good. Who's your favorite Doctor and why is it Paul McGann? Paul McGann is definitely up there. I also like Christopher Eccleston, Tom Baker, and Colin Baker. They're all excellent. All of them are excellent except Jodie, though. Except 13, I should say. I shouldn't call her Jodie. It's not Jodie's fault. She's a good actress. Praxius. It basically does everything Orphan 55 does. It has shit side characters, terrible characterization throughout. A plot that doesn't make any sense, and obvious but not botched theming. It's basically just Orphan 55, but without the context that makes Orphan 55 worse, so I'm going to put it here. Actually here, because it doesn't have the Nazi moment in it. Doesn't mean it's good, though. It takes you away. Neat idea. Compare it though to something like Amy's Choice. I think I was talking to Tharies about this. Where Amy's Choice is strong because it presents basically a dream scenario for each character. And only a few episodes into the season, you know all three characters so well that it makes perfect sense, you know? That it's a really strong episode because you know all three characters so well, they're sufficiently characterized. It takes you away. It's like, it gives the nightmare scenario to Ryan. What is his nightmare scenario? It's the world has ended and his friends have grown up and he's never been there for them. And you're like, oh, I guess he literally did once voice the concern that, like, he's been away from his friends for too long. I guess that's the same thing as characterization. So yeah, it's just that, but all the characterization is pissed and there's no foundation on which it's built. It also includes the moment where the doctor goes, I'm a bit socially awkward, I don't really want to talk to you about your cancer. It also has a really terrible plot resolution, which just, it basically says, and then the plot ended because we said so. It also has the doctor being pretty dumb in it. Loved your Doctor Who critique. I was struggling to put my finger on why I failed to see Jodie as the Doctor, but your section on that really made it clear. Thanks so much. I mean, I was struggling with that for a while. It took me a while to sort of put all the pieces together. The actor playing Zelen is phenomenal. He does a great job with the material he's given, and he elevates the episode, I think. So much so that he was the only thing I was focused on the first time I saw this, and I actively said, yeah, it's good. Despite a couple of problems. No, it's mostly problems, but he gives a good performance. I think it is just above Praxius. Villa Diodati. Atrocious, very bad, bad, okay, good. Here's the thing. Villa Diodati is constructed from good elements. It really is. However, it does have that ending where the Doctor tries to justify saving the life of Shelley over prioritizing his life over the life of millions, right? Now, the justification that the Doctor should have given in that situation is, I think we can save everyone. I'm not going to sacrifice one person because I think we should be able to save everyone here, right? That's the justification that the Doctor gives for the decision she makes. However, instead she says, Shelley is important because he's a writer and a poet and he will influence people. Which is so far off the money, you know? Everyone influences people in the way they live their lives. Everyone is going to have an influence upon the world in which they live. Shelley's not important just because he's a writer. Fun thing is that her making that decision is important for the next episode written by Chris Chibnall to happen. So I kind of suspect that was Chibnall's influence, but you know, maybe that's just my bias talking. Other than that, though, Villa Diodati is great, just through and through. It's good episode. I think it does have some thematic botchery in it, but I think I am still happy to put it in the good tier, even though it royally fucks that part up. Ascension of the Cybermen. Now that's what I call an inner conflict. Bad. Very bad. I think very bad. The characterization is weak as piss. The plot is bad. There's no real thematic botchery in it though, because doesn't really have any ideas or themes it's working with. It's just set up for part 2. So yeah, it puts pieces in position, and it technically does that. That's, it technically achieves the goal it's going for, even though it sort of does it really badly. Minus 11 and 12. What's the worst season of modern Doctor Who? 6 and 7 are good candidates. I wouldn't be able to tell you though. They've all got very different strengths and weaknesses, but I think the RTD ones are probably the strongest. It's either 5, 6, 7, or 8 or 9, right? Those are all are very easy to call the problem ones. The Timeless Children. I mean, it's obviously going in atrocious. There's no need to argue this one. But like, here's the thing: the Timeless Children fucks a lot up, but I don't think it's because it's written worse. I think it's because it's doing more, right? So it's like, okay, so let's say you're a person and you can't walk without falling over, right? And you're not like, you've not got a disability or anything. You're just very, very clumsy. You can't walk without falling over for very long because you'll trip up and you'll fall over, right? And you keep tripping up and falling over. The Timeless Children trips up and falls over just like any other episode does, but and it doesn't trip up and fall over any worse, but it trips up and falling over while holding a baby over a fire pit, Like, it's just got so much more at stake. It's the episode that the entire run has been building up towards thus far. It's juggling like all of Doctor Who lore, and it's a terrible episode with bad plot and bad characterization. And it's like, yeah, you fucked up everything that you were playing with, but like, it's not strictly worse. It's just got more in it, that is at stake in terms of stuff it can ruin. Does that make it a worse episode? Because it's not worse in execution. It's worse in its effects on the rest of the franchise and the rest of the series. Does that make it a worse episode? Yes or no, chat? I disagree about Demons of the Punjab being bad. It's a decent episode, but would have been better if if it was a Doctor Who pure historical. I feel like, please watch my video. Like, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but like, if you've seen it and you want to if you've just seen it in the bad tier on my stream and you're disagreeing, then like, sure, I see where you said that. If you've seen my video though, I'm not sure why like you would say that, as in like, because if you want to argue against the points I make in that, then like, you're welcome to, but you would need to bring them up to do so. The entire chat is saying, yes, that does make it worse. All right, I guess I'll take that into account. I think I put it here. It's just somewhere in this run. Like, all of these ones at the bottom are like just interchangeable because they're so phenomenally fucked. Like, they could, like, all of these are stories that just like I would struggle to make worse. I think we put it here. Got a super chat in there. Oh no, we've already read that one. Okay. And Revolution of the Daleks, absolutely atrocious. It fails on every level. It has poor character writing, poor plot, and a poor thematic element with the Doctor killing a TARDIS and it never being questioned or acknowledged as a problem by the story. It's like, it's not played as a sacrifice that she is making, killing a TARDIS in order to save the day. Like, if that was played as a difficult decision, then that would be neat. But it's not. It's just like ignored that she's doing a bad thing there. So for that reason, it just fucks up everything it could. It's an atrocious. I think it goes there. Right, so we've ranked them all. I want you in chat to tell me which episode you think most needs to be moved from its current place, right? I want to see what the most controversial placing on this list is. If you've not been here for the justification of why it's in that place, I guess please don't do the thing. I want to hear from people who have been here to hear all the justifications for why I put everything everywhere. Which one do you think is the one that's in the worst place? I hate how it skips all the prison stuff. Oh, I forgot how it skips all the prison. Yeah, it's just fundamentally fucked, isn't it? I think I might even put it below the Timeless Children, but I'm not readjusting it. I feel like Series 11 and Series 12 are so bad, it can only get better. Don't say that. It takes you away. It takes you where it needs to be higher. Saranga needs to be lower. Timeless Children needs to be rock bottom. Tesla. Resolution was kind of great. Resolution. Kablam is better than the Spiders. It's not. It's people just didn't notice the problems. I promise. Move Tesla up. Guys, the Doctor's planet has just been destroyed and she's completely chill. It's a patronizing science documentary that also completely forgets the Doctor's arc. Like, I can't in good conscience call that okay. It has a good side character in it. That's the good stuff about it. Diodati is too high, it drops the ball in the second half. Unless you're referring to the Doctor talking about how Thingy is important, Shelley is important because he's a writer. No. If you're just talking about like the lone Cyberman arriving, then definitely not. Oh, the plot is a bit flumpy in Vanilla Diodati, isn't it? Yeah, the plot is a bit messy because there's the bit where the Cyberium does loads of random shit that it has no reason to. Yeah, I think... Sorry. Any expectations for Series 13? I have no idea. If I had to wager, I'd say that the Roof Doctor's probably going to be in at least one episode, possibly the finale. And we're going to have something about the Division. Maybe the Roof Doctor's even going to regenerate in the series. Right, no, I think that's everything. I had a Benny tier for 55. It feels weird having Villa Diodati in okay, because it shouldn't be okay. It should be very mixed bag. Because like it's Diodati isn't composed of okay elements. It's composed of great elements and very bad elements. Like, but it that balances out, right? All right, yeah, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look for the super chats that went missing from the first half of the stream and see if I can find those. All right, let's do that. And by the way, my full Doctor Who video is out. Please watch it. I spent 6 months on it. It's linked in the description. Right, so I'm going to look for these super chats. Are they in here? Yeah, there they are. Right, I found them. Oh, you know what I can also do here? Let's read the super chats from the actual premiere, because there were quite a few of them. Right, so let's start from the bottom, from the first few chats. Okay, let's start from the beginning of the premiere of the of my Doctor Who video. Jay has a Discord link in the description. That's true. It is in the link to my Discord server is in the link of the description of my Doctor Who video. If you want to join my Discord community and be a part of it, you can. That's where the link is. There's a few more advertising my Discord, so yeah, go and join my Discord community. Avocado has worked very hard on it. He basically just made it for me and went, "Do you want a Discord community?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Yeah, okay, cool, I made one." And I was like, "Oh, cool, that's great." Doctor Who hasn't been good since Douglas Adams stopped editing the scripts. I'm sorry, you know. All right, Faries leaves a super chat. Just a little something from me, Jay. God knows you've earned it. I hope this gets the response you want it to. I mean, it got exactly the response. It's honestly very validating, and drives my ego a little bit to see that people who have watched it, they say, "Yeah, it's good. You did a really good job. Well done." And people who haven't watched it are the ones who are going, "It's bad." Because it is all that you would be shocked how many people who just haven't watched it feel that they have a fully informed opinion on the video that's worth sharing. If I haven't watched a YouTube video, I generally understand that my opinion on it probably isn't valuable enough to warrant sharing. Certainly not on the content of that video, but I've seen so many people just going on about how the video is 5 hours. That means it's just going to be a hateful rant with nothing of value to say. And I'm like, well done, good job. You sure figured that out. That's what that timestamp means. That's the only way that time could possibly be filled if it's long. Everyone is welcome to join the watch along in our Discord. That's not really relevant anymore because, the watch along isn't happening anymore. All right. Ah, yes, a 5-hour video essay about a show I haven't watched. Studying can wait. Money for new pants. Thank you very much. 5 hours, long premiere bad, audience smash. We've got Graham having tortoiseshell sunglasses on a sunny alien planet characterizes him as resourceful. No, it doesn't, because the Doctor had those, not Graham. It characterizes the Doctor as resourceful, I guess. Also, I'm pretty sure that was sarcasm, but... Howdy, Jay. Great work so far. And now go take a break. Don't overwork yourself on a project like this again. I'll try my best. Want to join the JXE Discord community? Link in the description. Why use a gun when you can take the TARDIS back in time to when life was about to evolve on their home planet from a primordial soup and then change its pH by weeing in it? Absolutely. I think that's what they should have done in the episode, honestly. You're beautiful. Thank you very much. It's too bad it's not biological child 55. If it was, it could be loved. That's a deep meme. The idea that orphans are unlovable is a meme created by someone who genuinely said and believed that, or at least no, not genuinely that, but something quite close to it. That's like orphans are loved less than biological children, like inherently or something. I can't remember the take. Anyway, their take was bad and it got memed. Right, we've got... I scrolled to the wrong place by mistake. Want to discuss Jay's video? Join us on the Discord. Link in the description below. And you can still do that. The video discussion tab is very much still there. So if you want to join my Discord server, you can. The link is in the description of my Doctor Who video. So click to my Doctor Who video, then click the link to the description. Right, we have then... Right, now, time for the super chats from this stream. Why is the tier red? You mean good being red and green being bad? I don't know. I don't know why that is. Alternative title, Doctor Who wrote this. Very well done. Nice. Bend the knee, bend the knee, bend knee, bend knee, Benny. Benny! Good, good, yes. Literally just finished watching the 5-hour video over 2 days. What an amazing video. I wish I could give more to you. Enjoy the rest, you deserve it. Thanks very much. I said, super chat's cool. You don't need to send them. You don't need to send super chats if you don't want to. The 2 criteria for you sending me a super chat should be that you can afford to send me one. It's not putting you in financial strain to do so. And that sending one is something that you think will make you happier. Because it's something that you're spending money on. So that's the criteria if you want to send me a super chat. Literally just... Oh, no, that's the one I just read. Just wanted to say I love your content. Thank you very much. 5 hours ago, I knew nothing about Doctor Who. Now I'm irritated by how they massacred my boy. Excellent video. Wanted to throw you a little extra. Thank you very much. 5 hours ago... Oh, that's the one I just read. Loved your critique. It was a great insight into the Chibnall era's flaws and clearly comes from a place of love for the show. Also, I like time in office. That's fine. You're allowed to like time in office. Hey Jay, noticed you brought up Family of Blood during the video. Did you know the 13th Doctor released the daughter? Look up in the shadow of the mirror. Isn't that like a fan-produced comic that happens in? I don't know, I'm not sure, but I think it's a fan work that happens in, but I'm not sure about that. I've read these ones. Let's see if there's any new ones. No, there do not appear to be any new ones, unless they've come... Oh, there's one new one. Arachnids should be good. I will not... Arachnids should be in good. I will not elaborate. What a beautiful way to end the stream. Thanks for hopping by, everyone. Watch my Doctor Who video. I worked on it for 6 months. It's right there, linked in the description. It's very good, I promise. Goodbye. Ah! Someone just sent in a new super chat exactly as I was ending. So the message of Orphan 55 was that orphans are vile and should be reformed. Great video. Long but justified wrong time. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Goodbye.